Greatness is not born in comfort, but in the struggle. If you want real change in your life, you need to disappear from the person you once were, the version stuck in old habits and thinking. Transformation doesn't come from small adjustments. It comes when you completely rebuild yourself, inside and out. This is about more than surface-level change. It's about shifting the way you think, the way you act, and the habits you form. It's not about quick fixes, but about deep, lasting change. When you commit to this process, you stop being a product of your environment. Instead, you begin shaping your own world. And once you've fully committed, the results will speak for themselves. People will see the difference, even if they can't explain it. That's when you know you've truly disappeared from your old self and become something unrecognizable. Someone who has put in the work and is now ready to succeed. Number 1, cut out the noise. You are living in a world that is constantly demanding your attention. And if you're not careful, it will steal everything from you. Your focus, your time, your energy, everything you need to build the life you want is being pulled in 1,000 different directions. But I want to tell you something that could change everything for you. If you want to step into your full potential and create the success you've always dreamed of, it starts with cutting out the noise. Right now, take a moment and think about the distractions in your life. What are they? Maybe it's social media, news, gossip, or even just the people around you constantly talking about things that don't really matter. Think about how much time you waste every single day getting caught up in things that don't contribute to your growth. We all do it. But here's the truth. You will never reach the next level of your life if you keep allowing these distractions to take up your mental and emotional energy. You have to decide right now to stop letting the noise dictate your life. The noise is the clutter that keeps you from focusing on the things that truly matter. It's the noise that keeps you from living with purpose and intention. And if you want to make a change, if you want to become unrecognizable, the first step is simple. Cut it out. Let's talk about how we got here. It's no accident that we live in a world full of distractions. The systems around us are designed to grab our attention and keep us hooked. Social media is designed to make you scroll endlessly. The news is built to keep you on edge and fearful. People around you are often complaining or talking about things that don't move you forward. These distractions are not accidents. They're intentional. They keep you distracted from your real goals, from your growth, and from what you could accomplish if you just took control. Now, I'm not saying you need to be completely disconnected from everything. That's not realistic. But you do need to start taking control of what you let into your mind. If you are constantly filling your mind with negativity, with the latest drama, with things that don't add value to your life, you're going to find it nearly impossible to move forward. You need to create space for the things that really matter. And to do that, you've got to get rid of the noise. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. It's hard. Cutting out distractions is not easy. It takes discipline. It takes self-control. But let me tell you something. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to make the hard choices. And one of the hardest choices you will ever make is to stop allowing the noise to take up your time and your focus. Here's the reality. You can't grow if you're constantly distracted. Think about the people you know who are always running around, always busy, but never seem to get anywhere. They're caught in the noise. They're constantly reacting to what's going on around them, instead of making deliberate choices about what they want to focus on. And you know what happens to people like that? They stay stuck. But when you start to cut out the noise, when you start to control where your energy goes, that's when everything starts to change. It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly you're able to focus on your goals. You're able to spend your time on the things that will actually get you closer to where you want to be. And that's where the magic happens. I want you to think about your goals right now. What are the things you want to accomplish? What are the dreams you have? Now think about the distractions in your life. How much of your time is being wasted on things that don't move you closer to those goals? If you can identify those distractions and begin to eliminate them, you'll be amazed at what happens. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about being intentional with your time and your energy. That's how you start to disappear from the noise and start to become the person you were meant to be. So how do you cut out the noise? Start by looking at your daily habits. What are you doing every day that doesn't serve you? Are you spending hours mindlessly scrolling through social media? Are you letting the news get you upset, distracted, and anxious? Are you surrounding yourself with people who don't encourage you to be your best? Take a hard look at what you're allowing into your life and ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this taking me closer to my goals? The good news is, you have the power to make changes. You have the power to take control of your environment and your mindset. If you want to cut out the noise, it's all about making conscious decisions. Start by limiting your time on social media. Take control of your news consumption. Spend more time with people who lift you up and less time with people who drain you. Start making deliberate choices about where you spend your energy. Now, I know this isn't going to happen overnight. Change takes time. But if you start taking small steps every day, you'll begin to see the impact it has on your life. And eventually the noise will fade away. You'll start to feel clearer, more focused, and more in control of your life. And that's when you'll begin to see real progress. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to keep up with everything. Everything happening in the world, everything their friends are doing, everything they see on social media. But you don't need to keep up with everyone else. You only need to keep up with your own dreams and goals. You only need to focus on what matters to you. And when you do that, you'll find that the noise starts to lose its grip on you. Take a moment today to reflect on the noise in your life. What's distracting you? What's pulling you away from your goals? And what can you do starting today to cut out that noise? Make a commitment to yourself right now to stop letting distractions steal your future. You are capable of greatness, but you have to get rid of the noise if you want to get there. The choice is yours. The power is in your hands. Will you take control of your focus, or will you continue to let the distractions run your life? If you choose focus, you'll find that your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. Cut the noise and watch your life become unrecognizable. Number 2, rewrite your daily habits. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. That's the hard truth, and it's the first step toward real change. The habits that got you to where you are today aren't going to take you where you want to go tomorrow. If you're serious about creating a life that's different, better, more successful, more fulfilling, you're going to have to rewrite your daily habits. You have to understand that success is built on what you do every day, not just on what you do every once in a while. The small, consistent actions you take today are shaping the person you'll be tomorrow. And if you're stuck, if you're feeling frustrated because things aren't moving in the direction you want, I can almost guarantee that it's your daily habits holding you back. It's the things you're doing or not doing that are keeping you stuck in the same place. But here's the good news. Habits can be changed. And the best part is, you're in control. So where do you start? You start with the understanding that every habit is a choice. You may think that habits are just automatic, that they're things you've always done, and there's no real reason why. But here's the thing. You've made those choices, consciously or unconsciously, over time. And just as you've made choices to build the habits you have now, you can make new choices to build better ones. The first thing you need to do is look at your current habits and be brutally honest with yourself. What are you doing every day? What are you spending your time on? And more importantly, are those habits getting you closer to your goals, or are they holding you back? Let's say you want to be more successful, more productive. You want to grow your business, start a new project, improve your health, or make better use of your time. But then you look at your habits, and maybe you're staying up late watching TV, or scrolling through social media for hours, or wasting your mornings snoozing the alarm instead of getting up and getting things done. Those habits aren't serving you. They're not helping you become the person you need to be to achieve your goals. And the longer you keep those habits, the longer you're going to stay stuck. So what do you do about it? You start by making small, intentional changes. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. That's not realistic, and it's not sustainable. But if you're serious about change, you start with one thing. Pick one habit that's not serving you, and replace it with one that will move you closer to where you want to be. For example, if you're used to hitting snooze and wasting the first hour of your day, start by waking up 15 minutes earlier, just 15 minutes. Use that time to do something productive. Maybe it's reading a book, doing some light exercise, or writing down your goals for the day. Just give yourself that time to get started on the right foot. And over time, you'll find that the small changes add up. That 15 minutes will turn into an hour. And those small steps will build momentum. But it's not just about changing what you do, it's about changing who you are. Your daily habits shape your identity. They shape how you see yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not a morning person, or that you're always disorganized, or that you don't have the discipline to follow through, you're reinforcing that identity. But the moment you start changing your habits, you start changing how you see yourself. You start seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined, someone who takes control of their time, someone who is capable of achieving big things. And let me tell you, your life will follow that change. When you start acting in alignment with who you want to become, you start attracting the right opportunities. You start creating the kind of environment that fosters growth and success. It's like a snowball effect. The more you improve your habits, the better your life gets. Now let's be real for a second. Change is hard. It's not easy to break old habits and replace them with new ones. And there will be days when you fall off track. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns, when you're tempted to take the easy route. But I'm here to tell you, that's okay. What matters is that you get back on track. You don't let one setback derail you. You keep going. You keep making the choice every day to move forward. Here's something I've learned over the years. Success doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency. It comes from doing the right things over and over again. Even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who keep getting up after they fall. They're the ones who stick with it, even when the going gets tough. And you can do that too. One of the most powerful things you can do is to make your habits so automatic that they don't require willpower. For example, if you want to improve your health, don't just try to exercise when you feel like it. Make it a non-negotiable part of your day. Make it so that skipping exercise feels worse than doing it. If you want to improve your productivity, don't wait for motivation to hit you. Set yourself up for success by making productivity a daily habit. Get up early, plan your day the night before, and focus on your most important tasks first. And don't just focus on your work habits. Your personal habits are just as important. How you treat your body, how you treat your mind, how you spend your free time. These things matter too. Success isn't just about what you do at work. It's about the whole picture. You are a whole person, and your habits need to reflect that. When you take care of your body, when you take care of your mind, when you create positive intentional habits in every area of your life, success becomes inevitable. So here's the challenge I'm giving you today. Rewrite your daily habits. Take a long, hard look at your routines and decide what's serving you and what's holding you back. And then make one small change. One habit at a time. Stick with it. Keep improving. And over time, those small changes will compound into something incredible. You'll look back and realize that the life you have today is the result of the habits you've built. And you'll see that the life you want tomorrow is simply the result of the habits you choose to create today. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing what matters consistently. And if you do that, I promise you, everything will change. Number 3, embrace the quiet. There's a power in the quiet that most people overlook, and that's a mistake. We live in a world that's constantly noisy. There's always something happening, something to listen to, something to see, something to react to. But the truth is, it's in the stillness, the silence, where you'll find the clarity and strength to become who you were always meant to be. If you want to transform your life, it's time to embrace the quiet. Most people are terrified of being alone with their thoughts. They've become so accustomed to the noise around them that they've forgotten how to sit with themselves in silence. Think about it. How often do you truly sit in silence without distractions? How often do you give yourself the space to think, to reflect, to just be? For most of us, it's rare. We fill every waking moment with something: music, podcasts, TV, social media, anything to drown out the silence. But if you want to change your life, you have to learn how to embrace the quiet. I know it sounds simple, maybe even too simple, but there's real power in this. When you take time away from the noise, when you take time to be alone with your thoughts, you give yourself the chance to hear your true voice. It's in the quiet that your best ideas emerge. It's in the stillness that your intuition speaks. It's in the silence that you can connect with your true self, the person you're becoming. But so many of us are afraid of that. We're afraid of what we might find when we stop running from our own thoughts. We're afraid that the silence will reveal things about ourselves that we don't want to face. Maybe it'll reveal fears, doubts, or insecurities we've been ignoring. Maybe it'll reveal truths about where we're not living up to our potential, or where we've been avoiding growth. But here's the thing. You can't grow until you confront what's really going on inside. And you can't confront it if you're always running from it. So I want to challenge you to embrace the quiet. Start with small moments. Turn off your phone for a few minutes every day. Sit in a quiet room and just be with yourself. No distractions, no noise, just you, your thoughts, and your breath. Let yourself feel whatever comes up. Don't judge it, just observe it. You'll be amazed at what happens when you give yourself that space. What you'll find is that the quiet isn't as scary as you think. In fact, it's liberating. It's in the quiet that you can find the peace you've been searching for. It's in the quiet that you can hear your own thoughts, without the interference of everything and everyone around you. It's in the quiet that you can get in touch with your true desires, your true purpose. You'll start to hear that voice inside of you that's been trying to speak all along. And when you listen to that voice, when you trust that voice, it will guide you to places you never thought possible. The quiet is where you'll find the answers. It's where you'll find the courage to step forward into new territory. It's where you'll find the strength to face challenges, to overcome obstacles, and to take the next step in your journey. But none of that happens if you're too busy listening to the noise. It's time to let go of the constant distractions. It's time to stop letting other people's voices drown out your own. Because if you're constantly surrounded by noise, you're never going to hear the call of your own potential. You're never going to hear the quiet whispers that are trying to guide you toward the person you were meant to become. Think about the last time you had a breakthrough. Maybe it was a moment of clarity, a moment when you finally understood something about yourself, your purpose, or your next step. Where were you? I'm willing to bet it wasn't in the middle of a loud, chaotic environment. It was probably in a quiet space. Maybe it was while you were taking a walk, sitting in solitude, or just taking a moment to breathe and reflect. That's where breakthroughs happen. That's where clarity lives. But here's the thing, you have to make room for it. You have to actively create those moments of quiet. You can't wait for them to just happen. If you want to change your life, if you want to unlock the next level of your potential, you have to create the space for the quiet to enter. You have to prioritize the stillness. Start by making quiet time a non-negotiable part of your routine. It doesn't have to be long. Just a few minutes a day is a good start. Sit in silence and let your thoughts settle. Don't rush it. Don't try to force anything. Just be with yourself. Let whatever thoughts, feelings, or ideas come to the surface, and then just sit with them. Don't judge them. Don't try to fix anything right away. Just allow yourself to be present with your thoughts. You'll be amazed at what happens when you give yourself that gift of space and stillness. And here's the thing. The more you make quiet time a habit, the more you'll start to hear the things you need to hear. You'll start to get insights into your own life. You'll start to see things more clearly. You'll start to feel more connected to your true self. And when you feel more connected to your true self, you'll feel more powerful. You'll feel more confident in your decisions. You'll be more clear about what you want, and you'll start to see the steps you need to take to get there. The quiet is not just for reflection, it's for action. The quiet helps you prepare for the work ahead. It helps you gather the strength you need to face challenges and push through obstacles. The quiet gives you the power to move forward with intention. When you've spent time in the quiet, when you've given yourself the space to listen to your thoughts, you'll feel more capable of taking on the world. You'll feel more ready to face anything that comes your way. But you have to make the quiet a priority. You have to intentionally carve out time for it in your day. You have to actively choose to be still, to be present, and to listen to the voice inside you. That's where the real magic happens. So I challenge you today to start embracing the quiet. Start with 5 minutes of stillness. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself think. Let yourself just be. And over time, you'll find that the quiet isn't just a tool for reflection. It's the foundation for everything you'll build in your life. And once you discover the power of the quiet, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Number 4, transform your body. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life, and it's time you start treating it like the priceless asset it is. If you want to change your life, if you want to become the person you were meant to be, it's time to take control of your body. Physical transformation isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling powerful, energetic, and capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. It's time to transform your body, because when you do, everything else begins to shift. We live in a society that's obsessed with instant results, quick fixes, shortcuts, magic pills. But here's the thing, true transformation doesn't come from a magic formula or a new diet fad. It comes from consistent, daily effort. It comes from making your body a priority, from treating it with the respect it deserves. And when you start treating your body like a priority, everything changes. Your energy improves, your mindset improves, your confidence improves. But you're probably thinking, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I don't know where to start. I get it. Life is busy, and it's easy to let your health slip to the bottom of the priority list. But here's the truth. You cannot afford to neglect your body. If you're serious about creating a life of success, fulfillment, and growth. Your body must be in top condition. You can't give your best to the world if you're exhausted, sluggish, and out of shape. Your body is the foundation of everything you do, and if that foundation is weak, everything else will crumble. So let's break it down. Where do you start? The first step is realizing that it's not about perfection. You don't have to be in the best shape of your life tomorrow. It's about progress. It's about making small, daily choices that add up over time. You don't need to go from 0 to 100 overnight. Start with one change. Maybe it's as simple as drinking more water. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to get in a quick workout. Maybe it's cutting out processed foods or replacing that sugary snack with something more nutritious. The key is to start. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you have more energy or more motivation. Start now. When you start taking care of your body, you start noticing immediate changes. You feel better. You wake up with more energy. You're more focused throughout the day. You feel more alive, more present, more capable. And that's the beauty of physical transformation. It has a ripple effect. When you start feeling good in your body, your mind starts working better. You become more disciplined. You become more focused. Your confidence soars because you feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, the world sees that. But I'm not going to lie to you. There will be days when it's hard. There will be days when you're tired, when you don't feel like working out, when you want to skip the healthy meal and just grab the convenience food. On those days, you've got to remember why you're doing this. You've got to remind yourself that you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your future. And that investment will pay off in ways you can't even imagine yet. It's also about setting the right intentions. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. You have to decide right now that you are going to take control of your body. It's a decision, a commitment. It's not a maybe someday thing. It's a right now thing. You have to commit to making small changes that will lead to big results over time. Every time you choose to take care of your body, whether it's choosing to eat something healthy, getting up to move instead of sitting all day, or getting enough rest, you're making a choice to become the best version of yourself. And let's talk about how your body affects everything else in your life. When you're in better shape, you have more energy. When you have more energy, you're more productive. You can focus longer, work harder, and give more of yourself to your goals. But it doesn't just stop at work. When you feel good physically, you feel better emotionally. Your mood improves. You're more patient. You're more present with the people you love. You're more optimistic about the future. But it's not just about how you feel. It's also about how you show up in the world. When you take care of your body, you send a message to everyone around you. I respect myself. I believe in myself. I'm serious about becoming the person I want to be. Your energy, your confidence, your posture, all of it will change. And when your body looks and feels strong, people notice. They're drawn to you. They see you as someone who's disciplined, someone who takes care of themselves, someone who's not afraid to put in the work. And that kind of energy is magnetic. Here's the key to remember. Transformation doesn't come from drastic changes overnight. It comes from small, consistent actions taken every single day. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to start. It's about building a routine that supports your goals. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be consistent. Consistency is the secret to long-term success, and it's the key to transforming your body. Start by setting small, achievable goals. Maybe it's walking 10,000 steps a day. Maybe it's hitting the gym 3 times a week. Maybe it's eating more vegetables or cutting back on sugar. The key is to start small and build from there. And don't be afraid to fail along the way. The road to transformation isn't a straight line. There will be bumps. There will be setbacks. But the most important thing is that you keep going. Every small step you take in the direction of health and fitness is a step toward becoming the best version of yourself. And as you begin to transform your body, you'll notice something amazing happening. Your confidence will rise. Your energy will increase. You'll feel stronger, more capable, and more motivated to take on the challenges that come your way. When your body is strong, your mind becomes strong. And when both are working together, there's nothing you can't achieve. So I challenge you today, start taking care of your body. Start making small, intentional changes that will lead to big transformation. Your body is your foundation. It's the vehicle that will carry you through life, and it deserves your attention and your respect. When you commit to transforming your body, you commit to transforming your life, and that's the kind of commitment that pays off in ways you'll never regret. Number 5, feed your mind relentlessly. If you want to change your life, If you want to achieve the success you've always dreamed of, then you have to start feeding your mind with the right things. What you put into your mind shapes who you are, how you think, and what you're capable of achieving. You are the sum of the thoughts you've allowed to fill your mind. So it's time to start feeding your mind relentlessly with the ideas, the inspiration, and the knowledge that will push you forward toward greatness. The world around us is full of noise. It's easy to get caught up in the distractions, the endless scrolling through social media, the constant updates, the gossip, the negativity. But let me ask you this: how much of that noise is helping you become the person you want to be? How much of that is moving you closer to your goals, to your dreams? The truth is, very little. In fact, most of it is probably holding you back. If you want to break free from mediocrity, you have to start feeding your mind with purpose. You have to decide, once and for all, that you are going to be intentional about what you let into your mind. Every single day, your mind is being bombarded with information, and you get to choose what you allow to stay. So why not make that choice count? Why not choose to fill your mind with the kind of information that will help you grow, help you succeed, help you become who you were meant to be? Start with books. There's so much wisdom, so much knowledge, waiting to be discovered in the pages of a good book. If you're not reading, you're missing out on an incredible opportunity to learn from the best minds who have walked this earth. You don't need to read 100 books. Just start with one. Choose a book that challenges you, that pushes your thinking, that expands your perspective. And don't just read it passively. Absorb it. Take notes. Implement what you're learning into your life. The best way to grow is by applying the lessons you learn. But it's not just books. It's podcasts. It's seminars. It's conversations with people who challenge you. Seek out voices that make you think, that make you question the way you've always done things. Seek out mentors, people who have already walked the path you want to walk, people who have already achieved the success you're aiming for. They've got the knowledge and the experience that can save you years of trial and error. Don't be afraid to ask for guidance. Don't be afraid to learn from those who've gone before you. Feeding your mind relentlessly means being intentional about the information you consume. If you want to be successful, if you want to elevate your thinking, you have to be careful about what you let into your brain. Stop filling your mind with things that bring you down. Stop watching the news that fills you with fear and negativity. Stop engaging in conversations that drain you and leave you feeling less than. Instead, surround yourself with ideas that lift you up, that inspire you, that challenge you to be better. When you start feeding your mind with the right things, you'll notice a shift. You'll start to see the world differently. You'll start to think differently. You'll start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You'll start to approach problems with a new mindset. You'll start believing that you can accomplish things you never thought possible. And that's the power of a mind that is nourished with the right information. It changes the way you see yourself and the world around you. But don't stop at just reading or listening. Challenge yourself to go deeper. Reflect on what you're learning. How can you apply it to your life? How can you take that knowledge and turn it into action? Because knowledge alone is not enough. Knowledge without action is wasted. It's the application of knowledge that creates change in your life. So take what you learn and use it. Take those ideas and put them into practice. Build new habits. Create new routines. Make changes that move you closer to your goals. The more you feed your mind, the more you will grow. It's that simple, but it requires discipline. It requires commitment. It's not always easy to pick up a book when the TV is calling your name. It's not always easy to listen to a podcast when you're tired and just want to zone out. But every time you make the right choice, every time you choose to feed your mind with something that adds value, you are one step closer to the person you want to become. Every time you resist the distractions and focus on learning and growing, you are building the mindset of a successful person. And that mindset will be your greatest asset. When you feed your mind relentlessly, you begin to develop the kind of mindset that refuses to quit. You develop the mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth. You develop the mindset that believes in the possibility of success, no matter the obstacles in your way. When your mind is sharp, when your mind is constantly being fed with ideas that inspire you, you become unstoppable. Feeding your mind isn't just about learning new things. It's about expanding your thinking. It's about challenging the beliefs you've held for years and asking yourself, is this still serving me? It's about questioning the limits you've placed on yourself and pushing beyond them. It's about taking your thinking to new heights and refusing to settle for anything less than the best version of yourself. And as you feed your mind, you'll begin to see the results. Your decisions will become sharper. your actions will become more intentional. You'll begin to move with a sense of purpose, knowing that everything you do is moving you closer to the life you want to create. The more you feed your mind with knowledge and inspiration, the more you will grow into a person who is capable of achieving extraordinary things. But don't expect it to happen overnight. Growth takes time. It takes consistency. But with every book you read, with every podcast you listen to, with every conversation you have, you are shaping the future version of yourself. You are building the foundation for the life you want to create. So I challenge you today, start feeding your mind relentlessly. Choose to fill it with ideas that inspire you, challenge you, and push you forward. Decide right now that you are going to take control of the information you allow into your life. Stop wasting time on things that don't serve you, and start investing in your mind. Because when you feed your mind with the right things, you are feeding your future success. And that, my friend, is the key to creating the life you've always dreamed of. Number 6, kill the old version of you. There comes a time in every person's life when they have to make a choice to keep living in the past, holding on to who they once were, or to step into the future and embrace the person they're becoming. This is the moment where you have to let go of the old version of yourself, the one who's been holding you back, the one who's been keeping you stuck. If you want to become unrecognizable, if you want to create a life of true success, you've got to kill that old version of you. It's time to stop carrying around baggage that doesn't serve you anymore, and step into the greatness that's waiting for you. The old version of you, the one who doubts their abilities, who's stuck in their comfort zone, who's held back by fear and insecurities, that version of you no longer has a place in the life you're about to create. It's not who you are anymore, but it's going to take some work to completely shed that old skin. Because here's the thing, growth is uncomfortable, it's messy. It requires you to face parts of yourself that you might not want to face. It requires you to let go of old habits, old beliefs, and old ways of thinking. But I promise you, if you're willing to go through that discomfort, if you're willing to burn down the old version of yourself, what rises from the ashes will be something far more powerful, far more confident, and far more capable than anything you've ever known. Let's be real for a minute. We all have old stories we tell ourselves. We all have labels we've attached to ourselves that have been holding us back. Maybe you've told yourself that you're not smart enough, or that you're just not the type of person who succeeds. Maybe you've labeled yourself as the lazy one, or the shy one, or the one who always messes up. But here's the truth. Those labels are lies. They don't define you. And if you're going to step into your greatness, you have to stop identifying with those old labels and start identifying with the person you are becoming. You're not the person you were 5 years ago. You're not the person you were 5 months ago. The only thing keeping you stuck in that old version is your refusal to let go of it. And here's the hard truth. You're the one holding on to it. No one else is holding you back. No one else is stopping you from growing. It's all in your hands. You have to choose to let go of that old version of you, to stop allowing the past to define your future, and to start moving forward with the mindset of someone who knows they are capable of achieving something great. So how do you kill the old version of yourself? The first step is to let go of the past. All those old stories, all those old excuses, they don't serve you anymore. The only thing the past is good for is learning from it, not living in it. Stop replaying the same mistakes over and over in your mind. Stop letting past failures dictate your future decisions. Failure is part of the process. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's simply feedback. The sooner you learn from it, the sooner you can leave it behind and move forward. Next, you need to start setting new standards for yourself. The old version of you might have accepted mediocrity, but the new version of you demands excellence. That means raising your expectations in every area of your life. It means deciding that you're no longer going to accept good enough. You're going to push for more, for better, for greatness. And that doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the small, everyday decisions you make. It happens when you choose discipline over comfort, when you choose action over procrastination, when you choose growth over stagnation. The new version of you is someone who takes full responsibility for their life, who doesn't make excuses, and who is committed to constantly improving. But here's the thing. The process of shedding the old version of you isn't easy. It's going to take some time. There will be moments when you slip up, when you fall back into old habits. There will be times when you doubt yourself, when you wonder if it's all worth it. But let me tell you this. Those moments are part of the process. It's in those moments of struggle that you grow the most. It's when you face challenges head on, and continue moving forward, despite the discomfort, that you start to become unrecognizable. You see, transformation doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you push through the tough times and refuse to quit. When you get knocked down, you get back up. When you fail, you get up and try again. Now, I want you to imagine what your life could look like if you fully embraced this new version of yourself. Imagine walking into every room with confidence, knowing that you've put in the work, that you've shed the old limiting beliefs, and that you're ready to take on whatever comes your way. Imagine looking in the mirror and being proud of the person you've become, proud of the effort you've put in, proud of the growth you've achieved. That's the kind of life that's waiting for you when you kill the old version of yourself and step into the person you were always meant to be. But it's not just about imagining it. It's about doing the work. It's about taking action every single day. Even when it's hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Because here's the thing, progress doesn't always show up immediately. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it feels like you're not getting anywhere. But trust me, every small step you take is a step toward the person you're becoming. Don't get discouraged by the slow progress. Keep moving forward, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. And let me tell you something else. The people around you are going to notice. They're going to see the shift in you. They're going to see that you're no longer the person who makes excuses, no longer the person who plays small. They're going to see someone who's committed to their own growth, someone who's willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. And you know what's going to happen next. They're going to start respecting you. They're going to start looking at you differently. They're going to start asking themselves, what's their secret? And the secret, my friend, is simple. You killed the old version of yourself, and you decided to show up as the person you were always meant to be. So here's the challenge. Stop carrying around the old version of yourself. Let go of the stories that no longer serve you. Stop identifying with the mistakes, the failures, and the limitations of your past. Step into the person you were meant to be. Decide today that you're going to kill that old version of you, and you're going to rise up as the person you were always destined to become. The world is waiting for you. Your future is waiting for you. But it's up to you to take the first step. And trust me, that first step is going to change everything. Number 7, master a skill no one sees coming. If you want to truly reinvent yourself, if you want to become the kind of person who's unrecognizable from the one you used to be, then you have to take on something that might seem completely out of the blue, something that challenges your current identity, your skill set, and your thinking. You have to master a skill that nobody sees coming. I'm talking about stepping outside of your comfort zone, choosing something that forces you to stretch and grow in ways that you didn't even think were possible. This is where real transformation begins. When you decide to do something that scares you, something that surprises even you. You see, we all have a comfort zone, don't we? We all have the things we're good at, the things we've mastered over time. Maybe you're great at your job, you're comfortable with your routine, and you feel like you've reached a certain level of success. But let me tell you something that's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you step into the unknown, when you push yourself to learn something completely new, something that challenges you in ways that make you uncomfortable. And I promise you, the more uncomfortable it makes you, the more growth you'll experience. Now think about what that might look like in your life. Maybe you've always thought about learning a new language, but you've convinced yourself that it's too hard or that it's too late. Maybe you've always had a passion for art, but you've never picked up a paintbrush because you didn't think you were good enough. Or maybe you've been intrigued by coding or technology, but you've always told yourself it's not for you. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something that pushes you to the edge of your current limits. The key is to choose something that feels like a stretch, something that forces you to show up differently, to think in new ways, and to develop new skills. When you choose to master a skill no one sees coming, you're not just building a new ability, you're building a new version of yourself. You're creating a version of you that is constantly evolving, constantly challenging the limits of what you think is possible. You're showing yourself that you're capable of much more than you ever thought. And here's the thing, when you push yourself to master something new, you're not just becoming more skilled in that area. You're developing a mindset that believes in the power of continuous growth. You start to see yourself as someone who isn't afraid to take on challenges, someone who believes that if they put in the effort, they can learn anything. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be telling yourself that you're too old to learn something new, or that it's too much of a risk, or that you just don't have the time. But let me ask you this, How long are you going to let those excuses hold you back? How long are you going to let fear dictate your life? The truth is, the longer you stay stuck in what you know, the further away you get from your potential. But when you decide to take on something new, you open up an entirely different world of possibility. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or 50. You're never too old to learn. You're never too far gone to reinvent yourself. But you have to choose it. You have to make the decision to step out of your comfort zone and go after something that forces you to evolve. Here's the thing. When you master a skill no one sees coming, you're not just adding value to your life. You're becoming more interesting. You're becoming more adaptable. You're becoming the kind of person who can handle whatever life throws at you, because you've learned how to tackle new challenges. Imagine how much more confident you'll feel when you can look at something you once thought was impossible and say, I did that, I learned that, I mastered that. You'll carry yourself differently. You'll move through life with a sense of pride and accomplishment, because you'll know that you didn't just settle for the easy path. You chose to grow. But it's not just about building your confidence. It's also about building your creativity and problem-solving abilities. When you take on something completely new, your brain is forced to think in new ways. You start to approach problems from different angles, and you begin to see solutions where you once saw obstacles. Your brain becomes more flexible, more adaptable, and more resourceful. And that's a skill you can take into every area of your life, whether it's in your career, your personal relationships, or your own self-growth. The more you learn, the better you get at thinking creatively, and the more doors open for you. Here's the best part. When you master a skill that no one sees coming, it doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you. Think about it. When you learn something new, you start to share that knowledge. You start to inspire others. You start to show the people in your life that growth is possible at any stage, at any age. You become a living example of what it means to constantly evolve and push yourself beyond your limits. And that's one of the most powerful things you can do for the people you care about. You're not just changing your own life, you're creating a ripple effect that inspires others to do the same. Now I want you to think about this. If you could be anyone, who would you be? Who would you be if you took away all the excuses, all the limitations, and started pushing yourself to master something new? The truth is, you have the potential to become someone completely different, someone stronger, someone more capable, someone more confident. But it starts with you making the decision to do something different, to take on a challenge that scares you and forces you to grow, because that's where real transformation happens. So I challenge you today, find something you've always wanted to learn, something that pushes you out of your comfort zone, and go after it. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it may never come. Don't wait until you feel ready, because you'll never feel ready. Just start. The only thing standing between you and the person you want to become is the choice to start learning, to start growing, and to start mastering something new. The time is now. Step up, take action, and watch as you begin to transform into the person you've always known you could be. Number 8, disappear from toxic circles. You can't grow if you stay in the same place, surrounded by the same people who don't want you to change. If you want to disappear and become unrecognizable, you've got to cut the ties with the toxic circles holding you back. You know the ones I'm talking about. The friends, the acquaintances, the people who constantly remind you of who you used to be, who tell you that your dreams are too big, or that you're just fine staying where you are. These people, whether they mean to or not, are anchors, weighing you down and keeping you stuck in the past. And if you want to reach your full potential, you've got to leave them behind. Now, I know that sounds harsh. I know it feels like it's impossible to walk away from people you've known for years. People who may have been there when you were at your lowest. It feels wrong to walk away from friends who've been by your side through thick and thin. But let me ask you this, how many times have you felt drained, frustrated, or uninspired after spending time with these people? How many times have you found yourself surrounded by negativity, hearing comments that cut down your ambition, your goals, or even your worth? It's exhausting, isn't it? And let me tell you something. It's not just exhausting, it's holding you back. Here's the thing. You can love people from a distance. You don't have to abandon them or hate them. But if they aren't supporting your growth, if they're not encouraging you to be the best version of yourself, then it's time to take a step back. It's time to evaluate who you're spending your time with, and ask yourself whether they're helping you grow or keeping you small. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life, on your mindset, on your energy, and on the actions you take. You can't expect to level up while constantly being around people who are stuck in their own comfort zones. Think about it. You've got goals, you've got dreams, and if you're serious about becoming unrecognizable, you've got to start surrounding yourself with people who are already living at that next level. People who inspire you, people who challenge you to be better, people who are hungry for more. These are the people who are going to help you push past your limits. They're going to make you uncomfortable in the best way possible. They're going to hold you accountable and show you what's possible when you put in the work. And let me tell you something. It's not just about having people around who are more successful than you. It's about having people around who have the same hunger for growth, who are just as committed to leveling up, and who are willing to push you to become the best version of yourself. These are the people who aren't afraid to have tough conversations, to tell you when you're not doing your best, to call you out when you need it. And most importantly, these are the people who are going to celebrate your wins without jealousy, without trying to tear you down, because they understand that when you win, they win too. Now you might be thinking, what if I don't have anyone like that in my life? What if I feel completely alone in my desire to grow? I hear you. But let me remind you, you don't need a huge crowd of people to make this happen. Sometimes it's just one person who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. One person who pushes you to take action when you'd rather stay comfortable. And if you can't find that person right now, guess what? You can become that person for yourself. You can create your own circle of growth by seeking out people who inspire you. Whether that's through books, online communities, podcasts, or mentorships. You can find people who are going to help you rise, even if they're not in your immediate circle. And in time, as you grow, you'll start attracting more of these kinds of people into your life. The reality is, toxic circles can come in many forms. Sometimes they're obvious, people who are constantly negative, who gossip, who drain your energy. But sometimes they're subtle. They're the people who don't push you, who don't hold you accountable, who let you stay stuck because they're stuck themselves. And they're the hardest to recognize, because they don't seem like a problem. But if you're not careful, these circles can slowly chip away at your motivation, your confidence, and your ability to see what's possible for your life. And it's not always easy to walk away. But I'll tell you this, if you stay, you'll never grow. You'll be stuck in a loop, constantly waiting for things to change, while nothing ever does. So here's what I want you to do. Look at your circle right now. Who are you spending the most time with? Are they supporting your dreams? Are they challenging you to be better? Or are they holding you back with their own fears, doubts, and negativity? If the answer is the latter, it's time to make a change. You don't need to cut people out of your life completely, but you do need to set boundaries. You need to protect your energy, and you need to seek out people who are living the life you want to live. People who make you want to be better. People who make you want to push harder. People who make you believe that anything is possible. When you start making these changes, you'll start to notice something incredible happening. You'll start feeling lighter. You'll start feeling more focused. You'll start seeing opportunities you never saw before. Because when you let go of the people who weigh you down, you make space for the people and the experiences that will lift you up. And I promise you that space will change your life in ways you never imagined. You're not meant to stay the same. You're meant to grow. And to do that, you need to surround yourself with people who are committed to growth too. It's time to let go of the circles that keep you small and make room for the ones that will help you rise. Because the person you're meant to become is waiting for you on the other side of those changes. So step up, step away, and watch your life transform. Number 9, do the work when no one's watching. There are moments in life when no one's watching, when no one is there to cheer you on, and when the world has no clue about the work you're putting in. And let me tell you something, that's exactly when it matters most. The real work happens in those unseen hours. The moments when you're working alone, pushing yourself when no one is there to validate your effort. The hours when you're studying at 5 a.m. while the world is still asleep. When you're staying up late to write that book. When you're practicing relentlessly to master a skill, even though you haven't yet seen any results. It's in those quiet, unseen moments that you build the foundation of your success. If you want to disappear and become unrecognizable, you've got to be willing to do the work when no one's watching. It's easy to show up when the crowd is cheering for you, when there's an audience, when the recognition is right in front of you. But that's not where greatness is made. Greatness is made in the shadows, in the hours of practice, in the relentless commitment to doing the right thing when no one is there to see it. It's those quiet moments that define who you are and what you're capable of. Think about any person you admire who's reached a level of success you aspire to. What do they all have in common? They've all spent years doing the work when no one was paying attention. They didn't wait for the applause to show up. They didn't wait for the world to acknowledge their efforts. They just did it because they knew it was what needed to be done. And that's exactly what you have to do if you want to be successful in anything you pursue. You've got to fall in love with the process, with the grind, with the hours that no one else sees. Because that's where the real magic happens. Look, I know it's hard. It's easy to get discouraged when you're not seeing the results immediately. When your efforts seem to go unnoticed, when you're putting in the work. But the world is still asleep to what you're doing. But this is the test. This is where you prove to yourself that you're committed. You have to ask yourself, am I in this for the long haul? Am I willing to do the work, even when it feels like no one's paying attention? If you can answer that question with a resounding yes, then you're on the path to something extraordinary. You've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. Success is not an overnight phenomenon. It's not about quick wins or instant results. It's about consistency. It's about showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. But here's the secret. Everything you're doing in those unseen hours is building the muscle of discipline, of persistence, of resilience. And it's this daily commitment, even when no one is watching, that will carry you to places you never imagined possible. The results will come, but not because of some one-off action you took when people were cheering you on. They'll come because of the countless small decisions you made to keep going when it was hard, when it was inconvenient, when it seemed pointless. I'm sure there are times when you feel like you're the only one putting in the work. Maybe you look around and see others getting recognition, getting praise, while you're still in the trenches, still grinding it out. But here's something I want you to understand. You're building something that can't be taken away. The work you do in private is the work that creates a legacy. You're building something real, something lasting, something that will stand the test of time. The effort you're putting in now is shaping your future self. And while the world might not see it yet, the seeds you're planting today will bear fruit tomorrow. Think about this for a moment. How many times in your life have you seen someone get the credit, get the applause, get the recognition for something that you know didn't come easy? Maybe they weren't the smartest person in the room. Maybe they didn't have the best ideas, but they put in the hours. They worked when no one was looking. And that's what separates the people who succeed from the people who just wish they could. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about doing the work consistently and relentlessly until you've earned the right to be recognized. There will be days when it feels like it's all for nothing, when you're putting in the effort and not seeing any immediate payoff. But let me remind you of something. Success is the result of compound effort. Every hour you put in now is like an investment in your future. You might not see the return right away, but trust me, it's coming. The more you show up, the more consistent you are. The more you work on your craft, the more you'll start to see the fruits of your labor. Now, I want you to think about something for a moment. The person you are right now, the person who's putting in the work when no one's watching. How proud do you think they'll be of the future you? How proud do you think they'll be of the person you've become after all the hours of work, of persistence, of sweat, of sacrifice? That future version of you is counting on the present version of you to show up today, to keep doing the work, to keep pushing forward. Let's get real for a second. There's no shortcut to success. No one is going to come along and hand it to you. No one is going to pat you on the back for every hour you spend grinding away, working toward your goals. But that's okay, because the rewards that come from doing the work when no one's watching are the rewards that last. They're the rewards that make you feel like you've truly earned it. They're the rewards that can't be taken from you because they were built on the foundation of your effort, your determination, and your grit. So the next time you feel like no one is noticing your effort, remember this: the work you're doing now is shaping who you'll become. It's preparing you for the success that's coming your way. And when the time comes for you to step into the spotlight, when the world finally takes notice of all the hard work you've put in, you'll know that you earned it. Not because of one big moment, but because of the countless hours you spent working when no one was looking. Keep doing the work. Keep showing up. Your future self will thank you for it. Number 10, reintroduce yourself to the world. There's a moment, a single point in time, when everything changes. It's when you step into the room and the people around you stop what they're doing. They look at you, not because of some external reason, but because they can feel it. They can feel the shift in you. You've put in the work. You've done the heavy lifting, the hours of quiet struggle, the growth that no one saw. And now when you walk in, your presence alone tells them that you've become something else, something they didn't see coming. It's that moment when you reintroduce yourself to the world, not just with your success, but with who you've become in the process. You've transformed, not just externally, but internally. You're not the same person who walked out of that room before. You've shed the old skin, the old identity, the old limitations, and now you stand as a new version of yourself, unrecognizable. Not because of how you look, but because of who you are and the strength you carry within. It's in that moment that people take notice, not because you said anything different or acted differently, but because they can feel the difference in you. It's in the way you carry yourself, the confidence you exude, and the quiet power you've developed through all the unseen work. You didn't need to announce your arrival, because everything about you speaks volumes. People feel the shift before you even say a word. They feel the energy you've cultivated, the self-respect you've earned, the discipline you've committed to. You no longer need to convince anyone. The transformation is evident. And let me tell you something, the world will take notice. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. You've done the work in private. You've transformed yourself in silence. And when the time is right, the world will recognize it. People will start to see what they couldn't see before. They'll look at you and say, something is different about them. And that's exactly what you want. You want to walk into a room and have the energy shift. Have people wonder what's going on with you. It's not about being flashy or drawing attention to yourself. It's about being so centered in who you've become that your presence is undeniable. But it doesn't stop there. Reintroducing yourself to the world isn't just about stepping into a room and being noticed. It's about how you handle that attention, how you carry yourself when the world starts to see the person you've become. When you've put in the work and transformed yourself, it's not about boasting or trying to prove something to others. It's about quietly, confidently owning the space you occupy. It's about knowing that you've earned every bit of recognition that comes your way, and being humble enough to carry that recognition with grace. Here's the thing, when you reintroduce yourself to the world, you're no longer chasing approval. You're no longer seeking validation from others. You've found that within yourself, you know who you are now. You know what you've put in. You know the sacrifices you've made, the long hours of work, the moments when you stayed disciplined, even when no one else understood. And that's where your true confidence comes from. Not from what others think of you, but from the work you've put in and the person you've become. The best part of this journey, you don't have to tell people about your transformation. You don't have to say, look at me now, or boast about your achievements. Your actions will speak for themselves. Your presence will tell the story. When you've truly done the work, when you've shown up day after day, and quietly built the life you want, the world will recognize you. Not because you're loud or flashy, but because you've become undeniable. People will see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you interact with others, in the way you approach challenges. And here's another truth. It's not about impressing everyone. Not everyone will understand your journey. And that's okay. Not everyone is going to appreciate the transformation you've gone through. But that's not your problem. Your job is to stay true to the person you've become, and to keep showing up as that person. You don't need everyone's approval. What matters is that you know who you are now. You've done the work, and you've become someone you can be proud of. There's a peace that comes with this kind of transformation. It's the peace that comes from knowing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to seek validation from the outside world. The quiet confidence that you've developed through your hard work, your sacrifices, and your commitment to becoming better is all you need. And when people start to see it, when they start to recognize the person you've become, you'll know that it was worth every moment of effort. So when the world finally takes notice, when people start asking questions, don't get caught up in trying to explain your journey. Don't feel the need to justify what you've done. Just keep being who you are. Keep living your truth. And let your actions speak for themselves. The person you've become is more than enough. You've done the work. You've earned the right to stand in your power. And now it's time for the world to see what happens when you show up. Day after day, putting in the work, doing the things that others won't do, until you become something so undeniable that no one can ignore it. Your time is coming. The recognition is coming. But don't wait for it. Keep doing the work. Keep growing. Keep becoming the person you were meant to be. When you finally reintroduce yourself to the world, they'll see not just your success, but the quiet, powerful person you've become through the effort, the discipline, and the resilience you've built along the way. And that, my friend, is when the real magic happens.